An alleged cult leader appearing before a federal judge today is a week after Ronnie Dennis was arrested during an FBI raid on his Columbia County mansion. That hearing just wrapping up after more than 5 hours. Now, no cameras are allowed in federal court, but your senior investigative reporter Liz Owens was inside the courtroom, so she's going to be joining us now with what she's learned so far. Liz?
Hi there. Yes, so 5 hours in there and still not a decision. The argument's still not done from the U.S. Attorney's Office to why Ronnie Dennis should remain behind bars during the trial. It actually wrapped up with Ronnie not feeling well, and then the judge adjourning for the day. And just a few minutes ago, we saw an ambulance go inside to the Federal Justice Center. We have not heard when the hearing will resume. I did hear the U.S. Attorney saying she is wrapped up tomorrow, so it most likely will not be tomorrow. So her argument to why he needs to remain behind bars, and again, this is the leader of the church, is that she has two arguments. That one, that flight risk, and two, obstruction of justice. I sat through there and we got through the very first part, which was flight risk. And essentially for 4 hours, we heard testimony and cross-examination of the investigator with Homeland Security that went through the file showing that Ronnie is not who he says he is. Who is he? We still don't know. The federal government doesn't know who he is. But this really sounded like, I felt like I was like watching a scene out of Catch Me If You Can. Literally, they talked about the real Ronnie Davis, the defendant Ronnie Davis, and then a third Ronnie Davis popped up later. All three using the same social security number, alien number, or birth date, and sometimes they'd switch it out. But what we learned is that the real Ronnie Davis, or whoever this guy was, immigrated or came through the port of Miami. Sorry, the train's coming around behind me, but came through the port of Miami in 1980, about 3 years. So he came here with no paper from Haiti. This is different from the defendant. When he got here, he was able to obtain an alien number and social security number. What we found out is that the defendant, Ronnie, actually used that to enlist in the military. And up until 2025, this year, no one with the federal government even compared the fingerprints from the Ronnie Davis that came across on a boat to the port of Miami in 1980 to the defendant, Ronnie Davis, who served time in the military, who was fingerprinted. Those prints do not match up. So essentially, kind of how did he get this other guy's ID? The investigator pretty much said that there are times that's not saying it happened, but it is a possibility that the personal information could have been sold, gifted, or stolen, because there was 3 people involved, all using, all the same name, social security number, but different pictures, different fingerprints. So where are we at right now? The U.S. Attorney wants to argue why she believes he might obstruct justice by intimidating witnesses. She was in the middle of her argument when he got sick, and they adjourned for the day. So not too sure when it's going to continue, but I can tell you, like the scene out here, there's still a few lingering church members, but there's at least 100 church members here. There's only 20 seats in the courtroom, 10 in the overflow. Those were full, so there was like church members all in the middle of the, like by the fountain, by the federal courthouse, and outside here in the sidewalks. And I overheard some of them saying they came from out of town. Of course, there's multiple churches throughout the different states, mainly by military bases.
Yeah, something that I definitely have not seen covering federal court here in Augusta, just like you said earlier, Liz. So it's a lot to unpack. I'm glad you were able to keep that all straight. And we're going to have all this information again on our website and later on in our later newscasts. I know Ethan is going to be following up on that. So we do want to thank you for that, Liz.